In today's video, I'm going to be comparing the Power A Fusion Pro controller and the 8Bitdo Ultimate controller and telling you which controller is better for the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to compare these controllers in 3 categories: price, features, and comfort. So starting off with the price, as of today, the Power A controller is on sale for $75 and it normally retails for $80. The Ultimate controller just retails for $70. So in this case, lower wins, and Ultimate controller takes this round. So when it comes to features, both of these controllers have some pretty cool useful features when it comes to gameplay. On the bottom of the Power A controller, you have paddle buttons, and you can map out different buttons to each paddle. You don't need extra software to do this. Everything is done right on the controller. So you can be in between matches and just assign buttons right on the fly, which is pretty cool. You can also remove the paddles from the controller if you don't want to use them. On the Ultimate controller, you do need to use software to reassign the buttons, but you can reassign all the buttons, not just the buttons on the bottom. Plus, with Ultimate software, you can create 3 different button profiles on this controller, and you can switch between them with the push of this button. The Power A controller comes with 4 extra joysticks. You can either use the concave or the convex joysticks, depending on your preference. With this controller, you can swap out the faceplates, giving this controller a different look. They're easy to take off, and they connect using magnets. This controller also has a 35mm headphone jack. With the Power A controller, you can use it wired or wirelessly. Also, it comes with a nice hard traveling case, which protects the controller. Now, just keep in mind when using this controller, for some reason when the faceplates are on, the joysticks don't get that full range of motion. So as you can see, I have the faceplate on the controller and I'm moving the joystick around, but for some reason, it's not picking up on the Switch sensor. Now, when I take the faceplate off and move the joystick around, as you can see, it's being picked up by the Nintendo Switch. Now, that might seem like a quick fix, but in the long run, playing without the faceplate on the controller is very uncomfortable. So if you're playing a game and for some reason it's not responding right, now you know why. With the Ultimate controller, you can't swap out faceplates or the joysticks, but you do have a Hall effect sensor. So what this means is that the joysticks on this controller won't have the drift effect. For those of you who don't know, drift or Joy-Con drift is when the joystick is in place, and because of how the joystick is built, the Nintendo Switch will still detect movement. This is most noticeable on the Joy-Cons, so you could be playing a platformer and your character is moving without you moving it. So this is a big no for a lot of Nintendo Switch owners. But the Ultimate controller having a Hall effect sensor is a major plus. You can also use this controller for Windows and Mac. All you gotta do is plug in the adapter to the computer and then switch the switch from Bluetooth to 2.4. The cool thing about 8Bitdo is that they included a charging dock with this controller, which is pretty nice. And I believe the Ultimate controller is the only controller that comes with a charging dock. The real difference maker between these 2 controllers is the fact that the Power A controller does not have rumble. And honestly, that is a big disappointment considering that this controller is considered a pro controller. And yes, you can game without rumble, but if I'm paying $70+ for a pro controller, I would want it to have the basic features and some more. And on the Ultimate controller, you have rumble and motion controls. Being able to customize the faceplates and the buttons on the controller is pretty cool, but being able to use a controller on Switch and PC is even better. Plus, the Ultimate controller having the Hall effect sensor and the rumble feature makes it a better controller to play with than the Power A controller. So when it comes to features, I give this round to the Ultimate controller. When it comes to comfort, the Power A controller is the better controller, but not by much. On the bottom of the Power A controller, you have like these rubber grips, so when playing with this controller, it feels really good in the hands. And plus, the black faceplate has like this matte finish and it's very smooth. So overall, this controller feels very comfortable to play with. On the bottom of the Ultimate controller, the hand grips do have like these little grooves for friction, but they're made out of plastic, so comparing that to the rubber on the Power A controller, it doesn't feel as nice. The plastic material that the Ultimate controller is made out of doesn't feel bad, but it doesn't feel better than the matte finish that's on the Power A controller. And when it comes to the size of these 2 controllers, they're roughly the same. The buttons are around the same size, the triggers are around the same size, so in that department, there's really no difference. But with that being said, the Power A controller takes this round, and it's definitely the better feeling controller. So out of these 3 rounds, the Ultimate controller wins 2, and the Power A controller wins 1, making the Ultimate controller the winner. I honestly like both controllers, but I feel like Power A could have definitely put the rumble feature in their controller, considering it's a pro controller. Also, the joysticks not having full range of motion with the faceplates on is a bit of a concern for me. The Ultimate controller is a nice controller, and I love the fact that it's fully customizable, so you can make that controller your own controller. Plus, you get a charging dock, which is really nice. But if you know someone who owns a Nintendo Switch and you're thinking about getting them a gift this holiday season, I would definitely recommend the Ultimate controller. With that being said, that concludes this video. If you guys have any questions about either controller, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you ASAP. But like always, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys later.